everything feeds the white supremacist ideology during the system of white supremacy. That's just the way it's set up. I mean, every move that everybody makes is going to be contaminated by the system of white supremacy itself. So the so-called adoption of a black child by a white person, all that's doing is just confusing that black child. You're going to add to it. The system of white supremacy is designed in such a way that it is supposed to confuse everybody who is non-white. Because when you have people who are confused around people who are not confused, the people who are not confused will always be the masters. The white supremacists understand that universal principle. So a child, so-called adopted, because we've all been adopted, it's just that some of us are outdoors, you might say, and an adopted child is brought into the house, you might say. Just closer. Just like Mammy back on the plantation. All right, she's a child. And like in the movie Gone with the Wind, Prissy is a child and acts like one and talks like one. So did Mammy. So did all of the house slaves. You know, talk like children, act like children. I mean, simple-minded, you know, and dependent, and beholden to mama and dad, who are the masters of the house. But the field slaves are also children. See, Neely Fuller in 2019 is an adopted child, illegitimately adopted, because my parents were seized. My great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were seized and put in prison. So I was born a prisoner of war. So this so-called adoption, that's just a word. It just means bring one of my prisoners into the house, or bring them into this room into the house, all right? Or take one of those little black babies and, you know, that we have out there in the field on the plantation and bring them into the house. And we'll call it adoption, but all it is just like on the slave ship, just taking one of the young black girls, like in the movie Roots, and bring her up there to the captain's cabin and raise her, so-called raise her. Yeah, they're raising her all right. I mean, to what you call child abuse, sexual abuse. That's all that is for the most part. And you have so-called male, man marrying man, two white men, and they're going to show how they are liberal, and so they're going to adopt 3 black male offspring of black females who can't take care of them. And so there they are, getting their pictures taken and getting in the newspapers and the magazines as being great liberals who saved these children from foster care. And there they are, all hugged up and whatnot, and around an elaborate dinner table and whatnot. But all this is just an extension, in answer to the question, of the system of white supremacy at its worst. Mm-hmm. Because if you put 2 and 2 together, you just about can figure what's going on. And you can talk to some of the people when they grow up, and they'll tell you. They're all messed up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you know, because they're still in. Now, if, you know, like so-called interracial marriage,
yes,
same thing. It's no such thing as a black person being married to a white person, or even being married to a black person in the system of white supremacy. According to what? According to logic. That's what. Not according to Neely Fuller. Why? Because prisoners of war can't be married to anybody. Period. You're a prisoner of war. You say, well, yeah, I'm a prisoner of war, but I got a wife back home. You ain't got nothing. If you look at it the way that it really is. As long as you're a prisoner of war, you don't have anything. Not a wife, not no children, not nothing. And so black people, period, don't own anything on this planet. It's nothing that you can call your own. Why? Because you yourself are a prisoner.
Okay.
We have to understand that. If we don't understand that, then we don't understand the world that we're in, and we definitely don't understand anything about racism.
All righty.
Nothing. Zero.